Hello, everyone. Hope you guys are doing fine today. It's a pleasure for me, and we're gonna have a RV Truth today with us. We're gonna be talking about any topic that comes up, and it's a pleasure for me to be here. And I don't know if RV Truth is in the house. Say hello, brother.
I'm here, brother. Of course, I'm here. You know what? Thanks so much, Eddie, my great
All
brother,
right,
for having me on. I
really,
greatly appreciate you, brother. Thanks so much.
really, really nice seeing you here, brother. And just gonna do some shout outs first. Shout out
Sure.
to New Zealand. I'm wearing my Auckland t-shirt today.
Very nice.
Lots of friends in New Zealand. God bless you all of you. Friends all over Brazil. We're watching now Australia, Europe, and especially the United States, my second home after Brazil, of course. And hello to everyone in the chat. I'm gonna try to answer some questions today if you have. Okay. And let me go ahead and display this one here. So Warrior, just want to say hi to my friend Banjo Eddie. We all had a great time at RV's live, so I'm sure you will have some more later. RV and Banjo Top Flat Earth, Earthers and Truth content. God bless my friends. Big shout out to you, So Warrior. I'm gonna watch RV's live later on. Well, I did. I had a bad night, RV. I went to bed like 11:30 p.m. and I woke up at 4,
Oh,
and it was hard, man. I don't know what's going on.
yeah. Well, I'll tell you something real quick before we even get started. I heavily advertised your live stream. I said to myself, I'm going to do a live stream before ours together to heavily promote it. The only problem is I promoted at 8 p.m. Eastern time or 8 p.m. Eastern time. That's what you told me in the email, but actually, obviously, it's 9 o'clock. But that's okay. It's only an hour difference. No big deal.
Right. I'm sorry. The problem is that we don't have summer. We don't change times in Japan.
Yeah, no worries at all. It's no big deal. And actually gave me a little extra time because I was running short and I was rushing. And I was like, it's a good mistake because it gave me time to get something to eat and relax because I went for like 3 hours. So actually, it was a blessing that it worked out. Everything works out like in life. Everything works out in the end.
Right. Okay. All right, guys. So to everyone else, I saw some comments here. I'm sorry because we don't have summer change. We don't change clocks, ahead of time, and I think they did in the US in the past few months. And I still have my, schedule, thinking that it was the old time. So okay, hello South Africa. I'm expecting to have Rory Cooper, the my perspective guy. We've been in touch and he's been traveling, but as soon as he gets back to South Africa, and we will going to schedule a show. I'm really excited about having him here. Uh, hello, Australia. Have faith, love. Okay, love to y'all in Australia, Montana. Hi, everybody here, guys. Harvey and Eddie. God bless you guys. Daryl. Uh, Brother Brazil, yeah, everybody, konnichiwa. So I got somebody here, a couple guys here from Japan actually. So we'll see if we can organize a meetup or something.
Very
So,
nice.
all right, guys, we're gonna get started. I'm gonna go ahead and talk a little bit. I'm not gonna talk a whole bunch about the time zones because I have a whole video. If you go to my channel, and all the credit goes to this French guy. I think he's Canadian, French Canadian. And let me share my screen, actually. Start sharing my screen. Share screen. Uh, whole screen, tie screen. Okay. All right, so let me show here on my channel. When you go to any of my videos, my most recent one about time zones, this is where I explain in details. I just want to highlight some parts that I forgot when I had that pilot here. And I was supposed to, when I did the React, I was supposed to talk about the Australia time zones.
Yeah, I
And
saw it. I
I,
saw it. Yeah.
I completely messed up, but I'm going to get started. So this is the map that the French Canadian guy used on his presentation. And I have a link I'm gonna make available for downloading. So the interesting stuff about this map, this is in the 90s, okay? Before they had that hammer, they have a hammer shaped time zone here.
Yeah.
And I think they did that in 1993. So this was before. So you see here time zone in Australia, you see 8 p.m., 8:30 and 9 p.m. They pretend they had three time zones here. So what they did is like later they changed it. Let me see if I find here the other one. They had this. Let me see. I think this one has it. Yeah, they have now this hammer, or they have like a Spanish shape now here in right here somewhere. So what they did, okay, let me explain here better. This
Take
is
your time,
what's
brother.
going on.
Don't worry. Take your time.
Okay, so this is what's going on. We have 19 time zones around the North Pole, followed by 24 time zones here. And they have added these 30-minute time zones to make it the south or beyond the equator to be like the north of the equator. Okay, so basically what they did is this thing here. Okay, I did this to explain better. So above the equator or within the equator, you have 15 degrees 1 hour time zones according to NASA. I'm going to show the video here. What they did beyond the equator, they doubled the amount of land, making 30 minutes each. So you have 1 hour, but you have the double the amount of land. That's how they trick people to think that symmetrically you have 24 hours above the equator and 24 hours below the equator or beyond the equator. They trick the people by making these 30 minutes time zones, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So when you look closer, actually, someone posted when I made that video that instead of 32 time zones, they have 37 time zones, which is the double of time zones. Clearly, we can see that beyond the equator, the distances are much larger than anything within the Antarctic Circle here. So I want to play this video by NASA, and you're going to see how different reality is from what they tell us about the time zone. So let's go ahead and watch this one.
Hi, I'm Jared with more KSNN Math News you can use. Did you know the Earth has 24 different time zones?
I know the Earth's day is 24 hours long. Is that why we have 24 zones of time?
Yes, the Earth is a sphere. It is divided into 360 degrees with longitude lines.
I remember those lines are drawn north to south.
The Earth turns 360 degrees in 24 hours. If you divide 360 degrees by 24 hours, it means the Earth turns 15 degrees in 1 hour.
So time zones are 15 degrees wide.
And that's why we have 24 time zones.
All right, guys, you see that? He's saying we have 24 time zones, but actually we don't have 24 time zones. We have almost 37 time zones beyond the equator. So another point is that Earth has a tilt, okay? So these 24 time zones, it's completely bogus, Everything that they're telling us is completely bogus because a couple months ago, I actually did a video on this, because the time zones don't really follow the sun like it is. It follows exactly like we have on the Gleason's map, And I have a shout out here to No Donk. I think he's from Germany. I'm also gonna make this map. It's a high resolution for downloading. He divided the Gleason's map into 24 time zones. So here you see Australia. It should be just 2 time zones if they want it, or they should have at least 4 time zones, at least like the US, because on the globe they are of the same size. So they should have at least the same amount of time zones. But they have 3 time zones, but they used to have only 2 time zones. So they keep changing this stuff. So this is Australia today, right? And this is they have 8 hours, 8 hours here, 9.5 here. You have 1 and 30 minutes, and 10 o'clock in this region. But it used to be back in the 90s, early 90s. This is how it used to be. So what they do here to hide the time zones, right here in this spot, this you have 24. This is midnight here in Russia, and 3 a.m. in Alaska, in the same coordinate
Yeah.
right here. This is completely crazy. So right here, they hide 3 hours, and if you look at this map, I mean, if you look at here, you see you have 1 a.m. I mean 1 p.m., 2 p.m., and then from 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5, and then jump to 7 p.m. So where's the 6 p.m. here? All right. So you see 3 hours here plus 1 is 4 hours. And then from 19, where's the 20? Now they jump from 19 to 21. That's from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. So right here, they hide 5 hours. That's why we have 19 time zones in the center. Here is okay. We have 24 hours. And then down here, they squeeze the continents. You see how much larger the North is? Look at the size of the United States. Look at the size of Canada. And look Australia, how tiny it is.
Yeah.
So they squeeze the bottom and they enlarge the top to pretend that both sides are symmetrically equal. That's how they do, but that's how, they hide flat Earth. That's how they, all these regions here, they have 30 minutes time zones here. This is completely crazy. And, if
Andy,
the
let me
sun
jump in
just,
here a second.
go ahead.
Real quickly, I just want to throw in here. I don't want to interrupt you. You're on a very good flow and great information. But what I want to say is, not only are they lying about obviously the globe, but even their flat maps, everything's out of proportion to cover up their lies and keep everybody in the state of confusion and not really know what's going on, of course. But yeah, go ahead. I just want to throw that in there real quick, because even on the people that believe in the globe, even their model is skewed in every which way. So it's, again, these people have everything. They master their lie before they present it to the public. And again, it's really the land of confusion.
Exactly. So this is the purchase, the Alaska purchase back in the 1800s, and the whole thing, I believe, in my opinion, now is to hide what's going on here, because right here in this line, you lose 3 hours. It's midnight here, and on the same line is both 24 hours, midnight and 3 a.m. So
Yeah.
this whole Alaska purchase here, the prohibition, especially during the Soviet era, that you could not explore this land and anything here. Actually, it's until today. I don't think it's back to normal. I think not long ago I watched a video. The guy tried to go to Russia, and he had, if he landed there, he was going to go to jail.
Yeah. You know what's funny too? I want to jump in here. You know what's kind of funny? Remember Sarah Palin when she said
Right.
when she said I can see a Russia from Alaska, and that's a little bit of a flat Earth clue that people missed.
Exactly.
They're like, these people are the enlightened ones, and they love to jab society, and it goes over their head what they're saying, and people don't have a clue.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know where in Alaska she was from, but she possibly could see Alaska. Just like some places here in Japan, you can see Korea.
Yeah.
Right. And there was back a couple of years ago, there was a Korean girl. She spent some time in Brazil, so she spoke really fluent Portuguese. And she was explaining the difference between Japan and Korea in Portuguese. And she told on a clear day, they can see Japan from Korea. And that was a big thing, because where's the curvature, There's no curvature.
Yeah.
On a clear day, you can see Japan from Korea,
Just like I know a lot of flat earthers in Greece, and there's many Greek islands, and they say we can see so far way beyond what they say the curvature rate is. So in Hawaii as well. So yeah, it's consistent throughout this flat Earth of existence. People are definitely catching on.
Right. So that would be much easier if they just follow the natural time zones as the sun passes over the earth. And that would be the best thing to do instead of making those confusing time zones. And yeah, some people say, well, it's for political reasons, but I think that it's more than that. I don't think it's just for political reasons.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Actually, the politics, there are rulers in this world who rule over those politics. So they tell them what to do, you know?
Well, here's the thing: is in this world, when they blind the mind, the eyes can't see. The eyes become useless when these people that run this world blind the mind, and that's what they've done successfully, unfortunately, to so many people.
Exactly, exactly. So let me show this, the hammer. It's called the hammer head or something like that. Right here, this one here. So this is in uh, back in the 90s, early 90s. It wasn't like this. Okay. But now look at this crazy time zone right here, where they had two time zones right here, you know?
Mm,
And I mean, you jump from my plus 12, following the meridian, to plus 14, where it should be just two here. So
yes.
they completely change, and this is this map right here. So back early in that region is right here now. It's in a land of right here. That's what they call the hammerhead. It looks like a hammer, you know. So they
Yeah.
changed that in 1993. But before 93, this is the time zone in Australia. 8
Let me ask
p.m.
you something, Eddie. Let me ask you something real quickly. Have you ever seen that one episode of West Wing, this TV show in the United States, where they show they always put the truth to movies and lies to news type of thing, where they explain how all the world maps are wrong. Did you ever see that one episode?
Yes, 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 yes,
That
yes.
was very old.
Yes,
Just want to make sure. So they're laying everything out basically to fit their lie, and we know that. One thing I want to throw in there real quick, Eddie, before you continue, is just like that debate what you had with that one so-called pilot, where they use lies, deceit, they use deceitful tactics. They can't. Liars cannot work with a fair argument. They know they'll lose. They have to use show tactics, and that's what they've done, and that's what they're doing with everything you're showing here. They're definitely have to manipulate. And you're breaking down the lies. And one thing I want to throw in real quick is also on my live stream today, I presented once again your evidence from the Chilean earthquake, the tsunami, and I went beyond showing how would water go up a ball. If you're living on a ball, how would it go be above the equator all the way to Southeast Asia, to Japan, and it can't wrap around Antarctica. And that was I really want to really focus on that and never forget about that. That is a huge piece that you presented. I don't want to deviate from what you're presenting, but yeah, and I seen that too with the 666 on that one globe.
right, right. You
Yeah,
see here, like the globe, and they have
yeah,
a terrestrial globe, diameter 12 inches, the distance in statute values, 1 inch equals 666.
yeah. I seen that, and I have that saved from that one globe, and all the dimensions we know about the supposed tilt and all the ratios. It's all based on a lie. The globe's a lie, so they have their satanic equations placed in their lie. So it tells you these people running this world are obviously Satanists. And Satan's the big deceiver. So they're just working by that order.
It is. It is. Actually, I was going to talk about, not just about the pilot. I don't see the problem is when I did my React last month or beginning of this month, I was extremely arrogant, Harvey, when I was a Glober. And I had been to the US, I had visited NASA. You know, I went
Yeah.
back to Brazil and I met this guy, and he was saying, man never landed on the moon. That's the whole thing was fake. And I was extremely arrogant, towards the guy. Oh man, I went to NASA, I saw everything, I saw the rockets, and I saw, I was, and now, man, I'm telling you the truth. I still ask the Lord forgiveness for my arrogance back like 30, 20 something years ago. And my prayer is that one day, 10 years from today, 15 years, that pilot opens his eyes,
Yeah.
and because he's on the wrong side. And the problem is that, just as you brought up, is that those people, they use their credentials to spread lies, And talking about that PhD, since you talked about the wraparound tsunami,
Yeah.
that PhD that he was debating Austin, and I have him here, but I'm not going to play right now.
Yeah. I
But the
seen it. I
problem
know
is
you
how
have
do
that unlisted. I know you have that video unlisted. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Uh, the problem is that they use their credentials, their diplomas, their whatever, to uh, to establish the lie, to perpetuate the lie. And it's very frustrating for me. Like, he has a PhD and I have a master's degree, the same area, the same area. But he uses his, higher degree to say something that's not happening. That stuff that his explanation that there's too much ice on top of Antarctica, and that's why the
Yeah.
water doesn't wrap around. It's completely
It
nonsense.
has nothing to do with it. It doesn't, as long as water can wrap around an object, it can go around it. It doesn't matter, how high the mountain is, how low the land is. If there's a mass of land and there's water surrounding it, it can go around. One thing I want to mention too, really quickly, I don't want to deviate too far.
No, no, please. We are free to talk any topic today.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. One thing I want to say is the most simple answer for all these things that people say in science. Like when people say, "Well, all the scientists can't be lying about about us living on a ball. If the Earth is flat, they would come out." I would simply say this: how many of these scientists, so-called scientists, have seen the curve of the Earth? Simple. That's the most simple response, and they're gonna have to answer none, because none have been obviously in space, and the astronauts are all Freemason actors. So it's that very simple. To cut to the chase, it's that very simple. Going around in
Yeah.
circles about these kind of things. Just say none of them seen the curve. It's like this. I was on a debate with this one quote nuclear engineer and his host. I asked them both, "Have you ever seen the curve of the Earth with your own eyes?" One said yes, and one said no. And I asked, and I should back up. I asked from an airplane. One said yes, the other said no. you know, and the nuclear scientist said he never seen it, and the host said, "Yeah, I seen it." So it's they can't. The problem with liars, they can keep their lies straight, and also, of course, the curved windshields, and it's already pre-programmed in their mind, so it must be there,
Right.
they want to believe in the globe so much. Their reaction is yes, even though it's not true. And I've seen that reaction from people. They want to support a lie, and they'll lie to support that lie.
Right. Yeah. And sometimes, the frustrating part is that I was talking to a physics professor in Brazil. He's a glober. And I was telling him, man, you don't feel the earth is moving. Nobody can feel, nobody can approve it's moving. Don't you feel like guilty for teaching that stuff to your students? Because, you're teaching something against which is contrary to everything we know, we can feel. And, it's like brainwashing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it is, and that's why they always say get them while they're young, and that's what they've done is. And I said it earlier today on my live stream. Basically, the human mind is like clay. Once it's shaped and formed and solid, it's very hard to break that. It's almost nearly impossible. The only one that can do it is you plant seeds, and hopefully they will break it themselves. Because a lot of us, let's be honest, a lot of us in truth, we try to put too much information too soon to people. Their minds just can't handle it, and they just run. Sometimes it's best to just plant a little seeds, little at a time. It's like they only could take a bite of so much information at once, and let them ponder on it, let them think about it. And once you force it too much, they're going to run. So give them a little bit of information, leave them alone, and then go to someone else, plant some more seeds. That's probably a better strategy than being
Right.
very forceful. But everybody's different too. Everybody reacts to the information differently, and it's the ones that are really embedded in the school system. They're very proud of their degree. They're very proud of the college or university they attended. The ones that are not so invested, they're willing to listen. The ones that just they know it's how the system works. It's basically a slave system. They're the ones that are more likely to listen. But either way, the best thing to do is plant seeds and hopefully they sprout. That's the best way to do it. And sometimes less is better. Sometimes.
Yeah. All right, let me. I want to play a video here, really interesting. We can jump into this topic as well. So, the problem is they are removing lots of books right now as we speak. They are removing books from libraries in the US and from school libraries as well. So, I want to show this first and then we jump into this topic.
Sure, sounds good, bro.
This is a quick video. I'm at my school right now. I just want to show you something because the state just came last week and decided what books were appropriate or inappropriate. So I'm going to figure out how to show you.
Inappropriate.
This is a book that's been deemed inappropriate. These are the boxes of books waiting to go out. Look how big this box is. I'm going to show you some of the titles.
Show them this one too. Blacks in Aviation.
Yep. We have 20th Century Writers. We have Rosemary in the Woods. American The Hauntist.
The Big Lie.
The Big Lie. Right, it's all about Judaism. Women of Nigeria. Hitler. El Salvador. These are just a few of the books that have been deemed inappropriate. Lewis and Clark. They're removing these books from our library. Jefferson Republic. I don't understand.
20th Century Writers.
Hate groups. So yeah, this is what's going on.
All right, so the point is that I want to make. Back in 1957, they removed the Gleason's map from all the libraries and schools. I had a lady, she wrote me, she asked her father, he went to school in the US in the 50s, and he remembers having the Gleason's map in the classroom. In 1957, those maps were removed from public schools and libraries. And not long ago, I watched a video, a guy in England, he went to a library in Bristol, England, and he couldn't find any flat earth books, not a single one he could find. So all those books are being removed as we speak, for the next generation. And they will not have a clue of what's going on. They will not have a clue.
Well, that reminds me, and I'm looking up as you're speaking, Eddie, because there's this one Illuminati card game, this deck, and one is called, if you Google it, it's titled Rewriting History. They show a garbage can with books in it, and
wow.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to send you a link in the chat. Maybe you can share that, Eddie. So
okay.
This is really, I didn't, we're live. I didn't know you were going to present that. And that's
go ahead.
Really cool. So let me go to the private chat. I'm going to send you the link, and there's multiple images, and you can pick one, anyone you want to present, because it goes along with what they showed in the corridor with all those books that are going to be disposed of, and definitely it goes along with their protocol of rewriting history.
All right, send to me. I'm going to go ahead.
It's in the private chat.
Okay.
And you click on that link, and you'll go to Google, and you'll see all the images of that card.
So, and the frustrating part, what I'm saying, is that when we seeing out those PhDs, don't they research history and see how they changed stuff, Yeah. And it's extremely frustrating, Like, I mean,
well, it's not only on history; it's agendas. When agendas change, or they want to change agendas, they need to go through the literature and make sure that's they don't want to contradict what they're pushing. That's available, obviously, in any kind of public school. So it's going to contradict. It's like, wait a second, they're telling us one thing in the media, but what they have in the school textbooks is obviously contradicts that. So they're definitely. I always say this: the people that run this world are evil geniuses. That's why they have this. That's why this world's deceived. Is they have a lot of highly skilled, intelligent people, liars, deceitful people are running things, and all these Muppets underneath them are just going along with the program. The yes people. That's how you make it in this world. Being a yes person, you get in a higher position in this world. That's why people say, well, someone will talk. No, everybody that gets propped up They're yes people, and they want to keep their position. That's why nobody quote talks, and also they control the media, of course.
Exactly, exactly. And the amount of money they make sometimes, like that guy Lawrence Krauss, he
Yes.
taught at
Oh,
the University of Arizona.
yeah.
I checked the salary there is $120,000 a year for a professor in that university. Do you
Yeah.
think he would say Earth is flat? Of course, never.
Yeah, and this is the thing is too. They talk about consensus. Consensus, it feels fact or truth. They why do they want to? Why do they call it consensus? It's just a group of people, but they can control those group of people that they obviously that they prop up and they allow speak. So they they say consensus, but those are the ones that are allowed to be part of the consensus. If you go against consensus, it's obviously you're not going to be have a say, and you're going to be thrown out the window basically. But yeah, consensus is not truth. That's one thing I thoroughly explain to people.
Okay, here's the Illuminati card you just mentioned.
Yeah,
Rewriting history, whole bunch of books in the garbage can.
and
I
there's a
mean,
flat Earth one too. There's a flat Earth
oh,
card as well, and then
right,
they have the moon landing one, and they make it. They're showing it as a hoax, like in a studio. There's a lot of hints, and this is back from 1995. And there's a lot of cards showing a lot of events throughout history. I don't want to say them all because I don't get in trouble, but there's a lot of
right.
events throughout history with these Illuminati card, and this is made for public distribution. And they show a lot of people like Alex Jones. He's with Ron Paul on one card, and they show Alex Jones as like double agent. It's really amazing how they always put the truth out in plain sight. As mockery. They always love to do that.
This one here, we just went through this.
Yeah. Let me
Yeah.
let me see here. Yeah.
Wow, look
Yeah.
at this one.
Yep. There's many, many, many cards that I pointed out with all these. And here's the thing is they throw in some disinfo cards as well. They mix truth with lies, but they love to, again, put the truth in plain sight. And that's a big one, rewriting history.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one there.
History of the world. See, it's in the trash can now.
But I want to spotlight the flat Earth card because it's interesting.
All right, let me see if I find.
Yeah, because there's text underneath it, Eddie, that we want to look at.
So
I'll wait till you get to it first. Take your time, brother. Take your time.
Let me see if I find it here.
Yeah,
this one right here.
Yeah, and they show it like that, like a square in space, but it says something funny underneath it. I don't know if you can read that, but I don't. Yeah, it says underneath it, people laugh, but flat earthers know something.
Let's see if I find a good one here that we can read.
Yeah, that's what it says basically underneath it. Yeah, but we can see that. And back in 2015, that's one of my first videos on flat earth showing that card. Yeah, it's really, really amazing.
They are on. Okay, this one should open. So this is the only thing keeping me from fully discounting flat earth, considering this card game has actually predicted numerous future events since its release in 1975. It says they know something. What do y'all think? That's talking about what you just said.
Yeah.
And let's see. I don't think I can read. It's too small. So
yeah, that's the only sentence. That's what I read. And also what you might want to do is go to the three. Oh, there you go. You should be able to scroll down. You'll see it.
Right.
You'll see it there.
So
people laugh.
But, go ahead and read, brother.
Yeah, it says people laugh, but the flat earthers know something, and it just gives it instruction for the game. But what I'm getting at is they make it look ridiculous, of course, but it's like the yin and the yang. They put the truth in plain sight, but they also ridicule it at the same time. This is the world of land of confusion, like I said many times. It's really amazing. And also you want to look at the moon landing card as well. There's a moon landing card. And obviously what you showed with the convid, the fake thing. I gotta be careful with that, but they have those which you showed already. But yeah, let's look at the moon landing card if we can. And they show where is it?
See if I find it here.
Yeah, there's so many cards, but it should be there.
It should.
Go. See. Yeah, maybe.
Oh, okay. Let me erase this one. I think I should. Right here.
There you go, brother. Yep. And they show the backdrop, right there. Yeah.
Come on, Minnesota.
Yeah.
All right. This is it right there, a studio,
Yep.
a movie
Yep.
set.
Yeah, they're just again, they always put the truth out. And entertainment, movies, cartoons, these game cards, like even comedian, for example, real quickly, back in 2011 in Oakland, California, they had the comedian Eddie Griffin go on stage and say, I watched it on the news, it's real. I saw it on CNN, and then he goes, it's all BS. So what they do is they hire people, they think they have talent, and they have agents that they let them say some of their lines and they feed them extra lines, and they think, oh, it's just a joke, just like George Carlin. George Carlin's been around forever, but people think he's a hero, but people don't understand these. He wouldn't be on network TV for decades unless he was a puppet. So people need to make this perfectly understand this perfectly clear. No one makes the top of this world unless you sell out. You're not going to be spotlight on TV for decades unless you sell out, and that is that very simple. People are looking for heroes where there aren't any on TV, television programming, but they will give us some truth. That's just the yin and the yang. And I said this today in the live stream. If all they did was lie, it's no longer duality. These are Freemasons. They work off the yin and the yang, 99% lies, 1% truth. It's not all 100% truth. There's got to be that duality aspect.
That's right. So going back to that PhD guy that said that the water, it's just like imagine you make a building tall enough on the beach so the waves will never wrap around. It doesn't make any sense.
It's the most, yeah. But let me just say this regarding that debate. You did an outstanding job. But the thing is this, Eddie, I'm just being very honest. You're a real nice guy. You expect an honest debate with liars, deceivers, and I can tell. I've been at this for so long with the debaters when it comes to the globe side. They all have been trained the same way. They use the same exact techniques. They're always friendly behind the scenes before you go live. Then once you go live, they're like straw man you. They'll misrepresent you. They try to bully you. They try to talk over you all the time. They use all the same techniques, and it's the same thing. So to me, I would say this: remove ourselves from debating these people. Remove ourselves because they are not. We want to have an honest debate. They're not able to. All they do is mudsling, lie, deceive, and distract. And these are the same tactics with all of them. Put them out of business. Don't give them a platform, and move forward and put the truth out there. Because it always ends up ugly with these debates. They're not one of them are real or legit. They're always, like I said, using deceitful tactics, which they try to use with you. It was very obvious.
Yeah. See, I don't do debates, and people try to drag me into them, not just about flat Earth, like biblical stuff, like date, like Saturday or Sunday. Should we keep the Saturday? They drag me sometimes.
Yeah.
Like they tag me on Facebook, and I always untag myself because I live in Japan, and Japan is a country where you respect other people's opinion. And I kind of like the way it is. And we go to our flat earth meetups and we have engineers, we have people from, and we just talk about it. And I thought that we were just going to talk about it because when you debate, you have to study a lot the globe. And I don't have time or even stomach to study globe stuff, to try to convince globers. I don't. I'd rather be studying the Bible than studying global stuff, to debate them. I don't want to do that. So that's why I don't want to debate anybody. I don't want to spend that time. I'm a busy guy. And I say, oh, let's have a conversation. He reached out to me. Okay, so come along. Let's have a conversation. Once we were, live, everything changed. He had like 10 or 15 guys with him on the chat. And that was just me. I was the same guy on the day of the conversation than I was before, and but that's okay.
Well, the thing is this, brother, is this, I always say this, where the programming is so strong, you can show someone evidence, it'll be ignored. That's how strong programming is. It's the most powerful thing is the program in the mind. It's like a CD-ROM. Once it's printed, you can't rewrite it over it. You need a rewritable. Our brain should be like a rewritable CD-ROM, not one of these permanent press ones. And the thing is, Until they drop their ego, there's nothing. And you could tell right away when you talk to someone before you even put the information out, they're already going to deny it. Oh, it's flat Earth. Whatever information, no matter how well you present it, it's going to be denied before you even finish your last sentence. And then there's nowhere to go with that, you know?
You're right. You got it. You got that right. So let me check the chat here real quick. There are like 100 messages, and I haven't checked on them. Go ahead and
Sure.
remove this for a minute. Leave us
And
here.
also, too, before you do that, we should talk about this ridiculous notion of this. And I made a video about it today about Earth being pushed up. And this is what so-called replaces gravity by the Flat Earth Society, of course. And Dell Beyond the Imaginary Curve, he's pushing this, no pun intended. He's pushing that the reason things don't fall, the Earth is being pushed up. And this is definitely a shill at work. And there's a lot of disinfo agents that have infiltrated truth for a long time. What they do is they put some good information out in the beginning, and then when they gathered, they round up a lot of people. And now here comes the disinfo. So we have to we have to hold everybody accountable from the start to finish. Moving forward, they have to be consistent, and we have to be careful with a lot of this nonsense of things like where the Bible says Earth is stationary, and you have NASA and the science saying it's spinning. Well, now you have a flat earther saying Earth is being pushed up, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Remember when we went back to, I think the first time you were here or I was in your channel, when you remove the Bible, man, you have to, you replace with those crazy ideas,
Yeah.
That's the problem. When you don't have a foundation, like the biblical foundation, you replace you have to come up with these crazy ideas.
Well, this is what I always tell people. What the Bible says regarding our world matches our reality. Bible says it's stationary. We go outside, it's stationary. We have, the Bible says it's a firmament. We know we live in a pressurized system. So I mentioned, for example, the firmament to non-Bible believers. They want to dismiss it because it's from the Bible. They don't want to validate the Bible in any way. They hate the Bible. And I don't want to mention other people's names, but they want to disregard the Bible and give you a perverted version of the flat Earth, and that those people that are leading people astray. And we have to be very careful and have good discernment on who to follow. Here's the thing: is listen to everybody, but over time you'll find out who's real, who's not. Everybody's true side comes out, and it will all be known who's real, who's not when it comes to the flat Earth truth community.
Yeah. Time will tell. Time will tell, and I mean, I do my job. I'm a biblical flat earther since the beginning. The right here on my channel, you see there, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament show His handwork. And yeah, I'm a 100% biblical flat earther, and
Eddie, let me jump in here. This is kind of funny because I was in a debate with several people at once, with David Weiss, Jaron, and Alex Stein, and I was talking about how they're pushing other worlds beyond Antarctica, and I keep telling them, I said, look, there's ends to this Earth, and for example, Jaron will say something like, well, where does it say that in the Bible? I says, yes, it says in the Bible that Earth has bounds to it. In Job, how the God compassed the circle, created the water with bounds. So right when I answer that, they just ignore the response because it didn't fit. They didn't expect me to have that answer, so they jump into something else. They totally like, oh, I didn't know he was gonna have an answer for that. But obviously, to have this level water in this world, there must be something holding the water in, obviously. But they don't want to go in that direction. They want to push and deviate. I don't know if you saw Level Me, but I have a serious issue. They keep talking about outer space. It's not above, it's beyond the Antarctica. And that's where the UFOs are coming from. Well, how do they know that? Have they seen these UFOs fly over the Antarctica ice wall? So they're good. They do give good information, but they also mix in things that we cannot prove, such as UFOs beyond Antarctica and things like this.
Well, like back a couple, I think like 10 years ago or 15 years ago, there was an incident in Jerusalem. Some people were celebrating a wedding and they were dancing, like they do, they celebrate together, hugging each other, and the
Yeah.
whole floor collapsed, because there was no uh, columns there, pillars, it was like a really big salon where they were dancing. And imagine, how can we have a firmament that goes forever, with the rivers and
Yeah.
God and the throne of God? No, it has to have foundations. It has to meet earth somewhere.
That's the thing is
And
the thing is they know is this is what they want to sell people is fantasy, because a lot of times the fantasy, oh, other worlds, like they have a map of 128 different continents beyond the ice wall. How can they verify this? How can they prove this? They're just making it up. Literally, there's no way. So my whole foundation is this, Eddie, is I stick to what's provable in this world. It's okay to speculate, but do not present a map with, oh, this is what's beyond. Well, they cannot verify at all. So we have to be. We're going to lose people. In truth, we're going to lose people that are new to this. We have to stick things that are provable. Stay away from nonsense. It's okay to theorize behind closed doors, but don't present it to people that are new to this. They're just going to walk away from you showing a map of 128 different continents. So all these different ponds supposedly beyond Antarctica, and that to me is should be shunned and should not even be presented at all. And they say to me, well, it's a possibility. I said, well, there's a possibility there's 33 flying elephants holding up flat earth. And they say, well, that's stupid. So, well, it's equally stupid to push something you cannot prove. So stick to what's provable. Keep it simple. Let's stay away from fantasy, and let's keep it real. And that's what I'm all about.
right, I don't know. I've seen that map. It's a blue map, right? With a whole bunch of other
Worlds, yeah, other
land or
lands.
whatever.
Yeah.
And I heard it's a Spanish guy who came up with that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they name, I think his channel or his organization's name is Nos Confunden, which means they confused us. So he's confusing the people.
Yeah. Listen,
Yeah,
I don't mind. I don't mind speculation. Like for example, for example, you and I are talking behind the scenes about the possibility of this and that. But let's not present it like it's like reality, or there's a great chance of it when there's no foundation. Literally, we can just make up anything and just present it to people. And I know why they do it, because like I said, the fantasy is better than reality. They want to pull, because they know people in this world, they love science fiction, deep space. So this is their deep space is what's beyond Antarctica, because they know people love fantasy, and it's taking advantage of people and manipulating people with nonsense.
exactly. Yeah, it's a little bit of fantasy, mixed with
Yeah.
reality. So I don't like. I've seen them on TikTok as well. I don't even download them. I don't put them together. I don't add them to the compilations I make, because it's fantasy. It's just fantasy.
Yeah.
I actually have. I was going to talk a little bit about this one here. And let me share my screen again. Add.
Sure.
No, let me see if I'm sharing. Where is it? Okay, right here. So this map here, you see the regions where we cannot go. Okay, so we cannot explore this region here between Alaska and Russia. We definitely cannot explore the North Pole. Here, the Bermuda Triangle, which is, off limits for most of us. And this region here called Pontonimo, which is aircraft, satellite, whatever, cemetery. And anything beyond this red line right here.
Yeah.
So there's no way for us to tell what is beyond this line, which is the 60th parallel.
I truly believe once you get past a certain point, it's, beyond cold, where absolutely nothing will work. So what they always try to say is, oh, like Amelia Bird went beyond Antarctica and there's tropical land. No, you need to go a great distance to get back to tropical land. It won't be just beyond. You can't go from ice to just tropical land right beyond an ice wall. It would.
Hello, you there? Hey, RV, are you there? I can't hear you. So I don't know if RV
I'm
is
here.
it. Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah, you
All right,
figured it out actually. You figured it out.
okay. I don't know what happened. So I want to see if I find
Sure.
something here. I'm saving this for some for the future show, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you this. Let me
Okay.
get it real quick. Hold
Sure
on.
thing. Take it. Yeah.
Let me go back here to two of us while I have to search here. So let me go ahead and say, like shout out to some people here in the chat. Brian Cash, Alan Orstrand, Henry Bowman, Lord Hughes, Joe, Mama. You know, big shout out to all of you guys. And let me put this out here. I don't know if you know, back when the Bird did say about the extra land, there were at that time about 140 to 160 articles on newspapers. And actually, I see that on eBay, somebody was selling original newspapers with all of Bird's articles. Okay.
Hmm.
And I'm working on something that I want to present sometime in the future. I'm going to go ahead and share with you right now. Let me just find, because I got so many things on Flat Earth here. And, oh no, no, it's not this folder. If you want to jump in and say something, I'm just looking for this folder here.
Sure. And one thing I want to mention really quickly is I made videos on Admiral Bird before, and you're not going to be a high level in the military unless you're a Freemason. So I have I'm going to send you this link again in the private chat there, Eddie, and you can see
Okay.
you can see yourself where. Let me get to it here, the private chat here, and look at all the Masonic symbolism on his grave. There's postcards and everything. So what I'm getting at is, even Bill Cooper said it when he was in the Navy. He said only people that were Masons were let to be high up in rank, so they were trusted. They were able to keep secrets. So that's the just like judges, just like police chiefs, just like every high ranking official, they're taught to keep secrets, and this is the big part of Admiral Byrd. And definitely Admiral Byrd gives some truth, but he's mixing lies because he also mentions like Hollow Earth and things like this. So that's kind of how they work. Some truth, some lies, and that's just the reality. But definitely, you're not going to be propped up if you are. Only Masons get propped up in this world. So imagine Masons control this world. Imagine if you live in this world and you're a Mason and a non-Mason gets a spot on TV. Other Masons will be furious. So it's only their brotherhood that gets spots in every position. It doesn't matter if it's a televangelist, if it's in the military, a politician, a high-ranking newsman. They're all part of the brotherhood, and I could prove that with Dan Rather, Walter Cronkite. These were a part of the Demolay Society. They're all in their Masonic websites. They even list them as Masons. So it's not something I'm pulling out of thin air. I can prove it. But here we go with Admiral Byrd, and you can see all the postcard. You can see the square and the compass on that postcard, and all these other things.
They have the Baphomet star here, right? The five
Yes.
gold star right here.
And one thing I want to mention really quickly for anybody that's newer to this, as far as stars, stars are definitely not distant suns. They are, in my estimation, they're souls. So when the Bible says how a third of the stars were thrown, a third, that's a 33%. Stars and quote angels are interchangeable. So when they talk about stars, that's why star symbolism is huge, because those are the fallen angels. So just like in a Christmas tree, what do you put on top of a Christmas tree? Either a
The
star
star,
or an
right?
angel. They're interchangeable. They're the same thing. So I want to point that out. That's why, again, above DC they have the upside down pentagram. In Hollywood they have the stars on the ground that represents the stars that were thrown from heaven. So all the flags have stars. So stars have a huge, huge meaning, and it's really underestimated. And there we go here with more of Admiral Byrd.
I found a folder here, so let me share with you. I'm
Sure.
saving this for some time, okay? So these are a whole bunch of articles back from since the 30s, the 40s, and 50s, whatever.
Yeah.
And one thing, okay, You probably know about this guy here. Let me see if I find his video. I won't be able to uh, have it. Perhaps I can upload it to my channel. You know that guy who said that the airplanes were hitting an invisible barrier?
Yes, I remember that you mentioned. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's
mentioned
an
that to me before. Yeah.
UFO. Okay. So the thing is, okay, these arts, because this collection, I got this from a French website. I downloaded them, and there is one article that says they were able to reach 2,900 miles beyond 60th or 70th, 75 parallel. Okay. And then something happened there. They came right back. Right. So this is what I came up with. Right. 2,900 miles is approximately the distance between the East Coast and the West Coast of the United States. Right. So if they got this far and their airplanes were hitting an invisible barrier here, that's it. I mean, that's as much land as you can get. I mean, it's still a lot of land if you compare the East Coast all the way to California. It's a whole bunch of land, but 3,000 miles. That's what they reach it. No more than that.
Wow.
You know, according to those articles, and there are several of them. So I'm going to be working on these and put them in order by date,
Hmm.
and maybe in a future show I'm going to show that.
Yes, one
And
thing I
but
want to
that's
jump in
what.
here real quick, Eddie. I see something in the chat by Lord Hughes. He says, "Stars, angels, messengers of God." You need to understand, Lord Hughes, what you call yourself. That it says in Revelation how Lucifer and his angels, stars, were thrown from heaven. So there's like the good angels and bad angels. You need to understand that not all angels are good. There's like the Hell's Angels. We know this. So just want to throw them there real quick for someone in the chat. Go ahead, Eddie. I'm sorry.
All right. So this is from that I think it's a magazine they used to publish, very famous. I forgot the name. So this was back in the
Scientific
40s of.
America, what's it called? Maybe.
Yeah, it was a magazine back in the 50s. So this guy who posted in that magazine said, I remember when the reports came out about the Navy flying to a point 2,300 miles beyond the South Pole. And that was it. I mean, there was another article that says they reached 2,900 miles beyond, and that was it. I mean, something happened there. And so I want to upload the video where the guy says the airplanes were hitting an invisible force or invisible, something, barrier.
Yeah.
He used the word barrier. And I do have this video here. I just don't know which one it is. Let me see if it's this one. I put it together. But I'm still, this is a future. Oh, this guy here.
Okay.
You won't hear anything because it's not. Maybe I can upload now. I'm going to try to upload this right now. And we go ahead and watch it. Okay. So this is started 2. All right. So let's go back here real quick. And while we do, I'm going to go ahead and try to upload this. I enjoy having the opportunity to upload short videos to. I still don't know how to play videos from YouTube, but it's okay.
Yeah. Last time I know there's issues with the sound, and yeah, it's live streams are not easy. I know how that goes.
All right. Oh no, it's too big. The file is too big. So that's gonna be for a future, uh, a future show. I will talk about that. But as far as I know, based on all those uh, newspaper reports back in the 40s, 50s, they reached 2,900 miles, and that was it. Okay, which is still a lot of land, but I mean, of course, the dome. That's why I have this thing here, this illustration here, and this is what I think the real dome ends. Let me show here. Sorry. Mm. See here, a distance of 2,700, 800
Wow.
miles.
Yeah.
Not here, like most of us want to believe, but if they were able, according to those articles and the video guy saying that the airplanes were crashing into an invisible barrier at, and they went as far as 2,900 miles. So this is it right here. That's the amount of land that I can expect based on this, newspaper reports back in the 40s and 50s that they reached 2,900 miles beyond the South
Yeah,
Pole
and I
right now.
also had I also had some. I don't have the information in front of me, but I made a video about it a while ago, a few years back, where from one encyclopedia they said the height of the firmament at Antarctica, and there's a lot of information where you can see like mountains for miles and miles. It's a lot of information that, again, when you showed that video clip of how books are being burned and gotten rid of, it really demonstrates how they're manipulating things, and definitely this is very fascinating what you're showing here.
Yeah, man, for the future generations, I mean, they won't know what flat Earth is. They won't know anything about this stuff. Just as I told you, a couple of years ago, I think 2 or 3 years ago, Eric Dubay he made a video asking people to buy his books and place in libraries, all that stuff. I mean, it's a good initiative, but they are removing these books. They are removing all the flat Earth books
Yeah.
from libraries and schools. So this is my idea, but it's gonna be for a future video show. I'm gonna upload the videos to uh, StreamYard, and that's my idea. If they reach 2,900 miles or 2,700, which is the distance from the from New York to San Francisco, and actually they say the land was interesting stuff because Admiral Byrd, he says on the interview there was land the size of the United States, but the articles really goes beyond. It's the size of U.S. and Mexico together. That's why I have both of countries here because that's what they said. The
One thing I'll
size
say,
of
one thing I'll say, Eddie, is it's good to definitely listen to or look in the research of people like Admiral Byrd and all these other people, because definitely, even though they mix truth with lies, is cross-referencing with other information that's put out, so we can get a better idea of what's happening, what's the truth, and as much information we can accumulate and research, the better. So I never dismiss, even though Admiral Byrd is a Mason, there's, like I said, they're still going to give us truth. That's just how they work. They're always going to mix truth with lies, and definitely don't throw out everything they say. And that's a very important thing I want to mention about.
isn't that the thing that they have to tell us what's going on?
Yeah.
Like
Yes, like I said, they're Masons work on duality, where hot, cold, night and day, and they
black
can't.
and white.
Yeah, they got to work off the yin and the yang. So it's like, the yin and yang. It's like 99% truth, 1% lies, or vice versa. So for every all the lies, I said, they got to put the truth out there, and it's just the duality aspect. And again, they're Freemasons, so if all they told us was lies, they're no longer working off their own principle of duality, which is Freemasonry.
That's right. Second Corinthians, I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations that was given to me, thorn in the flesh, the messenger of Satan. Yeah, this is a Corinthians passage that Paul wrote about, having a thorn in the flesh. Yes, Auckland. I was there. I went to New Zealand. It's a very beautiful place. Uh, Unfortunately, after the pandemic, the prime minister there, she did some crazy stuff. So, better than gold. Big hug to you. Shout out to Better Than Gold right here. Is in the house. All right. Let me see. Catch up here. El Despertar. So El Despertar knows, she knows the Spanish. She knows that nos confunden, guys, means they confuse us. So other map maybe is to confuse us, to make a confusion. So am I still okay? I don't know. My sound sometimes. You can still hear me, RV?
Yeah, I heard a pop, but everything is good. I can hear you good, and yeah, everything's fine.
Okay, so I'm using this stuff here, StreamYard, to broadcast. Let me see what else. The flat Earth makes sense. The globe Earth, yeah, no sense at all. All right, so I still got one more video to talk about this PhD and all the education. The problem is like when I was the only reason I didn't want to go for a PhD like that guy, we studied the same area, but because you only had two opportunities of work, you either work for the government or teach. You know, it's an area. When you study like natural disasters or stuff like that, you either have to teach or work for the government. And I had to eliminate the chance of working for the government in the US because I'm not a US citizen. So I didn't want to teach this subject. And when I came to Japan, I applied for my PhD in New Zealand at Massey University. I was accepted, but my wife had been living in the US for so long with me, and then she said, "Well, I want to stay close to my family here in Japan. I don't want to stay in New Zealand for another 2, 3 years." So we decided to stay here. I just opened our school, and that's what we do here. But so that guy, PhD Tony, he has to, tell the globe lie until he retires. Because if he tells, okay, this is all BS, he's out of a job.
Yes. One thing I'll mention is it's kind of funny though because teachers know their role, and I know this from a good friend of mine in Ohio. He said he was debating the teacher in front of the class about the moon landing being fake, and the teacher knows he cannot go against the official narrative. So after they debated, he basically, the teacher told a friend of mine in Ohio, said, "Look, Greg, I'm here to teach out of the textbooks," and he winked at him, saying, like, basically, "I'm not disputing what you're saying, but I cannot come out and say that." For example, when I went to high school in California, um, I had a teacher named Mr. Miller, funny enough, and he would basically talk about the whole system, the corruption of the government, this and this. And I remember being the next period, I should say, and upstairs, and one student was telling another teacher about this. And the next week, that Mr. Miller teacher was not there anymore. He was gone. He was replaced.
Wow.
So this is the system we're working in. You have to play by the rules. If you go against the grain, so these are what I'm giving you is several examples that I've seen myself, and heard from other people as well, where this is why nobody speaks. There's consequences for speaking, and this is examples I experienced, and I've seen other people experience as well. So it's very easy, and also too, for example, a lot of what's happening in the world, a lot of doctors, not only doctors, say for example, people that work in dentistry, they're just reading off pamphlets. There's government scientists that are feeding them information, and they're just believing it, just like a student believes what's written in the textbooks is true. They're no different. It's just a higher level of deceit, and they're just taking information. Like a perfect example, I put out a video of a dentist of 25 years who used to push fluoride. After 25 years, he was looking at his patients. One patient was using non-fluoride toothpaste, had amazing teeth. The ones using fluoride were getting something called dental fluorosis, and darkening of the teeth. And this, then he's like wondering what's going on. So it took him 25 years to see the results of what there's things that fluoride do internally, the neurological system. But he saw also the physical ailments that came from it. But it took him 25 years to come to the realization, and then he became completely anti-fluoride. So what I'm saying is, these people that run this world, they've mastered slow kills, slow effect, and they don't want you to trace it back to what they create. So this is kind of how it works. And like I said, they're evil geniuses behind the scenes running all this, and they have a very good, not a good plan, but for them it's a very good plan. The way they run things, and yeah, that's why the world's deceived. Is these people have they'll have the world deceived through. I put it this way: this world is run by evil people manipulating stupid people. It sounds it sounds pretty harsh to say that, but that's basically what's happening in all fields. In all fields. And one last thing I'll tell people is, when people in truth fight the flat earth, they fight the truth of the flat earth. I'll say, look, the government is lying to us at every angle about health, medicine, this, that. So you're going to tell me this one government agency is telling the truth? about going to the moon, going to space, they're all lying. It's all deceit, and that's one thing they can't wrap their mind around is this grand deception.
Yeah, and people do it for money, man. I mean, if as I said, unless Krause, whatever his name is,
Yeah.
$120,000 a year at the University of Arizona, and this PhD Tony. I mean, they do it for money. He's not doing for truth, you know. They do
Did
it
you
for
hear that
money.
one thing he said to Joe Rogan one time? He was this Krauss scientist was talking to Joe Rogan about evolution, and they're talking about before there was the Big Bang, what was happening, all these kind of things. And then you know Krauss was saying, anytime you can remove God, that's a good thing, you know. And
Wow.
and he goes, we don't need these shenanigans from a so-called God. And he goes, isn't something? And Joe Rogan said this, playing devil's advocate. Isn't something from nothing, shenanigans? Isn't that like mystical shenanigans? And Krauss was caught off guard by that. So yeah, but we're getting off. I don't want to get too far off. Of course, these people wouldn't make it this high. People like Bill Nye, Krauss, Mishu Kaku, and all these scientists, unless they are completely sold out to this lie system and they're being rewarded for keep pushing the lie. And one thing I want to mention too is the alien agenda, because I remember years ago it was really ridiculed. But what stopped that was scientists appearing on mainstream media saying the possibility of aliens.
I went mute again. Not sure if it's me or you. Maybe it's my connection, but I think I don't know. I seems to be okay here. The
Okay,
connections. I'll be back. All right.
so okay, good. So what I was saying was this is the manipulation by these, planting the seed of these scientists going on all these MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, telling people the possibility of aliens is not remote, actually. Then it changed people from mocking the belief in aliens to, oh, now they're regurgitating what they heard in the news. Then you have people that were used to mock the idea of aliens. Now they're pushing it because the mainstream media is pushing it. So that just shows you the mind control that's happening from the mainstream media, and it trickles down to the populace.
You got it. All right. Let me. Uh, I'm gonna change the subject just a real quick here. Let me share my screen again. So guys, sometimes I do memes, you know, I post those stuff on Facebook and people ask me, oh, can you, can you send me this or that, this stuff here, flight routes. So I decided to put it all together and this is free. I'm going to place the link here. I'm not going to make any print version of this, but you can, like I printed a copy for me, black and white, just
Yeah.
to see how it would look like. Okay. But I'm going to show where you can download all the images individually because each one of them shows a flight path on the globe and on the flat Earth. So you get to your own conclusions, you know, especially flights from South America, they always have to go through Europe. You know, they hardly ever go through Africa because it doesn't really make sense in real life. On the globe, going from Buenos Aires to Qatar, we should stop here in Africa somewhere. Same thing from Argentina to India, but it never happens. We always go to Amsterdam or somewhere in Europe. So I
Can I
put it
jump in here,
all.
Eddie?
Hmm?
I'm sorry, I want to jump in here, and I want to mention this because what you're showing there is great. But there's a lot of people that try to deny this. They'll say, "Oh, the reason they take these flight passes because they want to fly closer to land because just in case of emergency." I'm like, is this something you're just making up? They're just making up things to defend their lie. I just want to just throw that in there real quick. There people
Right.
are so desperate to just not believe they've been lied to and deceived. But I just want to throw that in there real quick.
Yes, yes, definitely. So here, there are like 24 images put together, two by two, and you can download. I'm going to show in just a second, just stay with me. But I made in a form of booklet if you want to print your own copy, color, whatever. I printed one in black and white just to see how it looks like. And there is always a quote here from a physicist or a flat earther. And one thing I want to show, it's one of I have the three arguments. I've been talking about flights for 8 years. I've been talking to several pilots, globe pilots. There are three arguments they make. One kind of pilot says gravity. So I explain here what they say and what the reality is. Some say the gravity tilts down the nose of the plane. Other pilot says the IRS, which is the inertial reference system, which is um, uh, localization, like you can locate where the plane is. It doesn't have to be a ball for that. It works perfectly like they do with the smart soccer balls today. They have like a chip on the ball, so they can tell where the ball is on the field, whether it went offside or not. The same thing, the airplane is equipped with the IRS box, and they use celestial navigation because the stars are fixed, and so they can tell exactly where the plane is. And the last one, which is the pilot who was here, saying the air pressure is the one that makes the tilt the nose, which is completely bogus because air pressure is temperature, and if you're crossing the equator and when you travel for 1,000 miles with the same air temperature, so you're not tilting down the nose of the plane.
What
I
about the
completely
gyroscope? What about the gyroscope though? That's keeping the plane level. For example, they lost sight of you, and they rely on the gyroscope. What about that when it comes to the globe? And the gyroscope, which obviously, that frame of reference for keeping the plane
yeah,
level.
and I was explaining it was all manual a couple of years ago. Before the
Yeah.
70s, there was all manual flights. So the way you download this stuff, you go here to any of my videos, any of them,
Hmm.
and then you go to my Google Drive. Shout out to Dimitri from Russia. He actually did this for me. So you're gonna see a whole bunch of downloads available there. You have this folder full of all those memes individually, high quality. You can use to anything. If you want to print a T-shirt, do whatever you want to do. All images are in this folder, flight route memes. You have my book in PDF format for free. In English, you have in German, somebody translating to German. You have in Russian, and you have in, I think this is Hungarian or Slovenian language. I don't know. You have the whole booklet, this one here available for download. You have a whole bunch of high resolution Gleason's map, blue border, red border, and you even have a Russian version here with this is let me display this stuff is real nice. This is made by Dimitri, and it's opening here. So the whole thing is in Russian, like the new standard map of the world.
Yes.
It, yeah, everything is in Russian. So I just want to say that if you want to download stuff, just go to the very first link on my channel, right here, Google Drive. There's a whole bunch, and I'm gonna be adding more and more stuff to this folder. So anything I find interesting that I want to share, I'm gonna be adding to this folder. Okay, so let's see what else we can talk about. We've been going on for an hour 23. Let's close at 1:30. Okay, 90 minutes.
Sure. We've
So
been having time pleasure
anything,
having fun. We've been having a great time. And
it is extremely nice to be talking to you. But as just as I said to the other day, that pilot, he thinks that I was running away, but it's Monday morning here. I got as I use my phone, and my computer doesn't have a camera, so I use my phone. I see messages from students, so it's a busy day for me, so I need
Well, I'll
to.
just say this. I'll say that about this. About like I said, he played dirty pool. You're looking for a legitimate back and forth discussion. He tried to what they try to do is, like almost like a fight. They try to punch and distract and get you, like almost nervous and distracted, and then you're like frazzled. So that's a technique they use. They don't want to work on a level playing field. They don't work honestly. They're liars, and they're going to use dishonest techniques to try to rattle you. And I know their techniques. I've been doing these. I did debates years ago. I don't do them anymore with these people because I know they're liars. And it's like this. You're trying to come to the realization of something. You're trying to find truth. You cannot discuss with a fraud or a liar when it comes to truth, because they'll never, like a scammer, they'll never admit they're a scammer. They just won't do it. If someone's a liar scammer, they're never going to say, you know what, you're right, I am a liar scammer. They'll never do it. So that's these people we're dealing with. And also too, with people like Fight the Flat Earth and others, I tell flat earthers, do not go on their channel. All you're doing is keep them alive. You're putting food in their mouth by all the super chats. If flat earthers stop going to their platforms, you're gonna bleed them dry, and they're gonna be gone. So stop going to their channels, stop debating them, because they're just using you for super chats, and that's what I explain to people.
Yes, I don't want to waste time, learning this stuff just to try to convince them. I mean, there are so many other people who only by seeing a flat Earth map, clicks. This is what
Yeah.
made me realize the flight from Rio to Sydney when it stopped in Los Angeles. I said, well, this is the truth right here.
Yeah, bro. That's what. Oh, another thing too is I'm really limiting who I'm speaking to, because the worst thing is you talk to someone and they make a video and it doesn't represent me, and I don't agree with it, and people are like, hey, you talk to this person, like, yeah, I'm my own person. I represent myself. I don't want to be talking to people that are not closely on the same page with me, and it's getting fewer and fewer people that I talk to now. So I used to have a lot of guests in my live streams. After a while, I'm like, you know what? We're not really on the same page. You and I are on the same page. Never have an issue, and I greatly appreciate you, brother, because you're a biblical guy. You're a flat earth guy. You're no nonsense, no gimmicks, and I greatly appreciate that.
Thank you, brother. Same. I mean, I love your work, always did. I mean, a lot of things, especially about secret societies, I learning watching your videos. And I did upload your 4 hour long to my backup channel. It's been blocked. So that's why I'm not even going to upload it to my main channel.
There's a part in there. There's a part that needs to be, because what happened when I first made it in 2016, there's one aspect that needs to be edited out for it to go unblocked. So all you need to do is upload it and then go to details, copyright details, and then have that part trimmed out, and then it'll be free to be viewed on YouTube. But yeah, like I said, what I appreciate is people that bring something new to the table. The problem is, what I see is, I first showed up in the scene years and years ago, well over a decade, and there wasn't many people involved with truth on YouTube at all. So what happened was people watch videos like mine, and they basically take my ideas, take my videos, and repackage it as their own. There's not a lot of original work. You've done so much original research, which I respect. There's too many people taking other people's work and repackaging it as their own, and I have a problem with that. We need grassroots researchers, and you, with your background in emergency management, with all your book on the emergency flight pass, your amazing find through your research on the Chilean earthquake, that stuff is what we need. Not a bunch of people just watching their stuff and just, I'm going to take that person's video and make my own version. That's okay, I guess, to spread the truth, but we need new information. We need people that are digging for new relevant information and really keeping flat earth truth alive, and which leads to the biblical creator, Jesus Christ. And again, Amen. There's too many people in this field that are pushing, a God, but they won't say which God. This is the problem: is the real truth is being drowned out by a bunch of fakes and phonies, and that's the unfortunate truth.
Wow, that's great words, brother.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So I think we're gonna wrap up. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, RV, for accepting my invitation and coming along the show.
Anytime.
It's really nice.
Thank you. Thank
you. And I want to say goodbye to everybody. Your people are here. Got a lot of your followers here.
Yeah, that's what I did when I had my live stream, and I heavily advertised. I don't know, maybe 10 or 12 times during the show. I'm going to be on with Flat Earth Banjo. Make sure to watch it, and that's why we have so many people from my channel and cross promoting. Like I said, I'm going to limit myself to the individuals I deal with. I want to make sure we get real solid truth out there, no nonsense, and people speaking the real truth.
All right. I want to say for the people who are living in Japan in the chat, please, when we finish this live stream, leave a comment on the live stream below so we can get in touch, and maybe we can get together. If we are here in Japan, we are like-minded people, flat earthers, so we can get together. So, guys, thank you so much for being here today. We're going to go ahead and close. RV, I'm going to go ahead and remove you from the chat, right?
Thank you, brother. God bless you. Take care. And
God
everybody else,
bless you
thank
too.
you so much.
Okay, I'm going to watch your live stream later on today, okay?
Thanks, brother. God bless you.
All right, God bless you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys, thank you so much. And we'll go ahead and close with a song. May the Lord be with you. Keep your families safe. And thank you a lot for being here today, okay? So let's listen to this song by, I played it last week and a lot of people liked it, David J. Carroll. So with this song, when the song is over, this show is over. Thanks again, guys. God bless you and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Wonderful, magical, celestial light, fantastical, mystical, wonderful sight. Belgian Swiss physicist Auguste Piccard, 1931, first to reach for the stars, was the first to explore the air view stratospherius, a scientist curious to see what was there. An aluminium black ball gun, a helium balloon, hydrogen with photos and instruments, sailed towards the moon, rose in just half an hour, 52,000 feet, 10 miles up in temperature, left for dead, trapped in heat and cold, but disproving gravity. Wonderful, mystical, beautiful sight, flat line separation of black from blue light, a world run by deceivers, false make-believers, hiding in shadows, stealing our light. Mystical, fluorescent light, wonderful, magical, awesome, yes, stealing our light. Wonderful, let there be light, supernatural, eternal, supernatural. Up we go, higher than rainbows, higher than mountains, above cumulonimbus, higher than air, high level horizon, 360 around us, back right round behind us, any height that you dare. The sun and the moon both revolve above around us, to forever short time pass intelligently there. You'll never beat us, you'll never defeat us, no more you deceive us, we keep through you like air. Kipper and Picard were the first ever known to reach up there. Divine luminescent light, mystical, wonderful, celestial light. So what was their eternal testimony? What did they report back to humanity? Said it seemed like a flat disk far as eyes can see, with an upturned edge fading into infinity. A mystical, ethereal, celestial sight, a divine creation, a clockwork of light, designed hid by deceivers and false make-believers, still cowering in shadows, still fearing our light. Here we go, higher than Everest, higher than airplanes, above zero cumulus, higher than air, a level horizon, 360 around us, no motion beneath us, no spinning, no fair. Stars on the firmament, turn along around us, to forever short time past geometrically there. You'll never beat us, you'll never defeat us, forever beneath us, we keep through you like air. Mystics on the luminous light, fantastical, magical, bright, we see through you like air. Magical, angels of light, beautiful, wonderful, celestial light. The first to see truth when they reach for the stars, explorers and physicists, Kipper and Picard. us, never you'll defeat us. Forever beneath us, we see through you like air.